What's up? Every time I do one of these videos, I always gotta block people saying, "You're doing your video in the bath. You're doing your video on the bed. You're doing your video with your shirt off." Block each time. It's all I plan to block people for this video too. But listen, if I'm ever like doing a video or in a bath like this, it's like my meditating thing. I call it a shower bath where I just, let the water, fill up while the shower is going on. And I just kind of like meditate. It's helped me get through all this, which, like I said, I'll get to that point. It's getting close to the time where I go over everything, but just not right now. But anyways, listen. So I get on my PlayStation now. I'm just wanting to get on YouTube. I thought that would relax my mind. And I don't know why this happened, but I just constantly got nothing but hate channels. That has happened before, and the thing is, I don't click them. Like, I'm aware of them. I know what their thumbnail, whatever it looks like, because they all do it the same. But I was like, it was nothing but whining channels, and the two people I'm putting on this title. I don't watch them, and it's just weird. And one of the things is, I always also notice about YouTube is if you're not logged in, you have like a fresh, no history of YouTube, you come in there fresh, you get a lot of, clickbait videos of those fake, thumbnails and of trying to make it look like there's a cow riding a horse or something, I don't know. And you get hate channels. That's what it just recommends you to start out YouTube of clickbait videos and hate channels. I don't get that. It's just weird and it makes social media seem like not safe, and so anyways, but I was going to just also add, but when I am logged into account, it hasn't happened in a while, but I kept getting ads for hate channels. And it was the same guy that goes to these colleges, and and Fox News not Fox News, what's it called, South Park mocked him, saying that he edits out when he's being destroyed in a debate, but he only shows base he feels he won or something. I don't watch him, but I knew that without ever watching. That's what he did, or does, But anyway, so this is the thing, man. So I was getting nothing but hate channels, right? Nothing but hate channels. And, what was the first one? Oh, man. I'm trying to remember the two people in the title. I was getting even the Tyrone and Tyrese guy. It was just like, it was just a bunch of whining. Something about a video saying, another video. Let's just say, this is a common thing with hate channels. Every time a cartoon movie does well or a kid movie does well, it's grown-ass dudes saying Disney's crying because K-pop, whatever it's called, something for demons, did well in theaters. I don't click it, but I know it just is the title is Disney is upset by K-pop. Disney upset about Mario Brothers movie or something. It's just always the same thing. And that makes you feel like so you acknowledge that Disney is for kids, right? Because you're only doing that when it's a kid's movie. So why are there still grown adults mad at a Disney Marvel movie? As in like a Marvel, yeah. So it's just like, so it's a nausea in that because you must know it definitely is for kids. That's what I said. But anyways, so I'm trying to think that other guy that I recently done a video about. Like, what was this title? I don't remember, but I was going to get it straight into the point. The guy called Pi something. I found out his name was PEN something. I don't pay attention to his name. I will copy and paste both of their names. I'm trying to remember the other guys. What did I see about him that he was trying to? Oh, he was something about like this. It's hard to remember because, like I said, I did a video about the guy. I think he has TV in his name. I don't know. He was doing a video about Snoop Dogg being canceled. And then right next to it, later, while I was just scamming down, not trying to click any hate channel, saw the guy named Tyrone the Coon on YouTube, saying that Snoop Dogg hates woke movies. Didn't click the video, but I was like, okay, it was something about lesbians. And I'm like, I don't want to click it because I was like, I hope Snoop Dogg's not complaining about lesbians because who doesn't love two girls' tongues kissing each other? But anyways, and then so the next thing is, then I see that pie thing And I had it, like, I was like looking at somebody else, but my thing was already on his video. Then you hear him talking, and and it kind of was showing that he was going to talk about that rampage situation that I saw at World Star. Now this is the thing. This is what I wanted to do a video about loser talk. This is what losers talk, where it's the exact same thing. Same with that K-pop. Got Disney's mom upset because K-pop, and it's like, how many videos are you gonna have like that every time a kid movie does well? What, Disney's not thinking about another studio, people. And I brought that up in one of my recent videos, probably my last video. I don't even know what my last video is. But it's just like the same conversation about nothing. And the two people entitled do that. And the thing is, there's a certain way they do it, and it's the same way. And the reason why I knew that they're single without ever watching their video. This is how I know why they're single, because I can't imagine anyone could stand to listen to them. Because it's not normally how you talk. So let me explain how you normally talk about the rampage thing. Without clicking that Pie Guy's video, sorry, I got a swallow spit. So I can stop stuttering. While I'm clicking that Pie Guy's video, I know it's P-E-N, so it's not Pie, I learned now. It's P-E-N, that's all I know. I'll copy and paste it when I'm ready to upload this video. Is he's probably going to do this thing where he's going to say, how dare you do this, man? This is disgusting, man. You need to have your ass in jail, man. And it's like, people like that. It's the same copy I've seen several times. They do a video about something that it's be hard to, it's obvious that no one's going to be a fan of it, and be like, how dare you? And that's the point of the videos. They'll just say, this idiot, and me, let me tell you something. This is why I want to do this video. When I first heard about this, before it went viral, when it first popped on World Star, I feel like it popped on there first. Before any of the YouTubers talking about it, I was thinking about doing a video about it. And this is a normal way to do it. I was just thinking about responding to it as of a parent, of how I would feel, being a dad and that was my son. But YouTube is a bunch of idiots says, this idiot loser, how dare you, man? I hope you rot in jail for years. And it's just like, look at that's one of those things where someone really needs to look at themselves. It's just, that their life isn't right. That's why I said I know they're single without knowing them. Millions of dollars, and they can't get a girl. There's something wrong with them. Beating on females, all that kind of stuff. It's just, that's usually the outcome. But, I'm going to go ahead and explain what the video, I had this plan to do the video, but I decided I don't really care that much, and it's just other things that became more, important to me. But I was going to talk about it as in being a dad and how I respond, and then more information came in. I was like, oh shit, this dude's fucked. I thought like this, because I felt like when I first, saw the video, just going by 2 videos off of World Star, that this is like, this will maybe go away, but now I'm like, oh wow, this is dude screwed. I'm just like, if my son, I can't help you now. But this is what I got from the first video. It's just the first, and I'm gonna explain something about my son. I actually had my son watch the video. I'll explain that in a second, and explain to him about what went wrong here. And it's something I talked about before. When I first saw it, the first video was on World Stars, where he talked to some guy and he says, I don't know you, and then he hits him in the head with a can, and then it shows him what I'm slamming him and the thing, and they start punching. So my mind was this. I first I was just like this weird out. There's one thing that was in my head, but I'm gonna get to that in a minute when I talk to my son about what went wrong here. I think of cause and effect. How this situation should have never happened if you go by my logic here. But I'll get to that in a second. First in my mind is thinking these trashy people, they're in that there's a reason why they got these trash people get all fat and have these long hair, because they got that barbarian, shit in their head. They watch too many of those movies. But this guy thought he really was gonna knock this dude out with a bottle, I mean not bottle, but a soda can. It's just like you get too much in that movies where you think you're badass when because you have long hair and you have like big muscles or something. It's just like I was like, dude, you're watching way too many movies. This is what I first was thinking, right? And me, I'm kind of like thinking. Yeah, you need to get that lick in there, dog. You need to get that lick in there, dude. Because I only been in situations like that small where I ran into some guy I knew in high school. I'll get through this story really quick. And he's been in the army and stuff. And I said, hey, what's up? He went, pow! Like, I'm not doing it right because but he went, pow! And he had me, like, he hit me hard as hell. And I just stared at him like, what the fuck was that? And the thing is, he said, my bad, man, that's how we say hi to each other in the army. I know that was bullshit. I don't know why he did that. I knew his purpose was to knock me out, but this is the thing. I was looking at him all weird and shit. He didn't know. I was ready to drop. I was dizzy. But I was more angry too. So I was like talking to him, so I couldn't knock him out right there because I didn't know that I was not there in the head because he hit me so hard. That's that trashy kind of shit. He headbutted the F out of me. And I just wasn't expecting. I now always expected this for ignorance. I was young back in the day. I was past high school, but still, and he was past high school. But the thing is, so when I first saw it, what was in my head is when he picked him up, it really did look like this was like the guy knew he was supposed to pick him up because when he picked him up, he did nothing. He just let him. So what I thought first was he wasn't supposed to go up there, but the guy noticed that he picked him up. So he's like, okay, let him get his lick back and slam me. So I just felt like he wasn't supposed to go up on stage. But the guy noticed it, and he saw he wasn't, like, he was just laying back to ready to be slammed, as in not trying to stop it or anything. So I was like, cool. And then the punching started, and I'm, I see some comments where someone says, you can tell Rampage didn't care. It's like, well, what I saw, the clips I've seen, maybe there's more, is he thought maybe he's just fake. Because then another guy grabbed Rampage's son, and I'm thinking maybe it wasn't fake, but the other guy is trying to make this look like this is part of the show. So, but no, because I'm thinking the normal reaction is the other friend would have started punching, but it looked like he was trying to wrestle him. So maybe they were just trying to make it seem like to everyone and the kids there that this is part of the show, even though this wasn't. But the point is, I saw it as, when he picked him up, slammed him, the guy wasn't resisting at all. So I was thinking, okay, so he just wasn't supposed to go up stage, but the guy allowed him to, slam him and stuff. And so that's so it's pretty close to what the real outcome is. I'm still a little bit tad confused with it, but it was planned. If I find out later, it was actually planned for this. And that's what makes it even worse. That's the part that got him screwed. So I felt like he had a little bit more of a chance. Honestly, I felt like it would be more understandable if he wasn't supposed to go on the stage. And he still had that anger, understand being hit by a can, so he's getting his lick back. But knowing that there was already an apology and you got shook hands and you still and there's video you saying I'm going to F this guy up when I go up there. Man, let me say this. I would honestly go into depressed mode if I was a dad. But like I said, Rampage is probably not a real dad. I can't, I don't know him. I just know he's an idiot. I've seen videos of him, I can't tell, I mean, you know how he was sex harassing females. So I don't think, I just didn't know. I mean, that's just his personality. But sometimes I wonder, is there some kind of stage to that? We're watching that video. But the point is I'm trying to get into is I would go into depressed mode if that was my son. After I can't remember the exact way I want to explain it after getting the new information. I'm going by now knowing the information. I would go into depressed mode. It'd be hard to know what to do. Do I spend a whole bunch of money to get my son out of jail, or do I just let him learn? He'll be all right coming out. I'm a millionaire. Yeah, he'll be all right coming out. But but something like that is just like, That makes you feel like you failed as a dad, like you failed as a father. I would just really just, it'd be hard to look in the mirror because I just thinking everyone's looking at me being a failure. Like it was be too hard. It was just like when you're a dad, a father, whatever. Like your kids are a reflection of you. That's how real dads see it. Like they show what you are. So I'm sorry. Let me get to the point about my son. So I'm sorry. I'm not going to order like I had planned, but this is the thing. I had my son look at it and I said, "Look, son, see this video. I want you to understand something because I explained something like this before about putting himself around the right people." I said, "Okay, you see how this guy goes? Like I said, notice when there's good people to put yourself around. There's signs. You just got to see it." Okay, because one time my son was arguing with a fat little girl over something that made no sense in water when they're in the pool. And I said, "Do you see, like, why are you arguing with a fat girl?" Most people, I said, not all the time, but when someone's out of shape, there's a lot of time they're like low lives. They're lazy. I'm not spelling it right, but there's a reason why they're that fat. There's a reason why. But I'm not explaining that part right, but I'm saying there's not all the time I try to explain to them, but a lot of times there's signs. You see someone, I didn't explain this part, like walk around their pants hanging down. There's signs. There's always signs, son. So I said, look at this group of people that this dude walked up to around and hang around with. Fat, older people, hair hanging out, looking trashy as shit. He put himself in a problem. He put himself around ignorance. You will get ignorance by putting yourself around ignorance. Ghetto people. Anytime, like I said, nothing good can come from this person. Then you think to yourself, well, you look at the percentage of what good can come from this person. As more negative can come from them, you stay away from them, And there's all the point is there's these signs that you can just tell that this is not the kind of, people that you want to be around. And that is true. You don't get yourself around it because problems happen. Always. That's what I learned in life. Every single time I try to be cool with someone that just has some kind of ghetto problem, anger problem, anything, problems always happen. No matter how laid back you are, because I am laid back, problems always happen. So that's something I would know, before, but I was saying, see the signs. That's what I was trying to teach my little ones. See the signs. You can judge a book by its cover. That is true. Don't get what I'm trying to say. Just throw all that other bullshit out when people try to tell you you can't judge a book by its cover when it comes to situations like this. So it just cause and effect. It started out with him putting around certain people that are just not this huge signs to stay away from, and then it led to a can in the face, and then he let his anger show. And I explained to him right now, right here, this guy probably can go to jail for attempted murder because he couldn't control his anger. You put yourself around this kind of negativity, you become these kind of people. They make you feel these kind of ways, this anger. And one situation I was playing with YouTube is, and this would have went if I would have done a video. I remember I was getting like view responses. Certain people I just I never finished a video, but something about them felt so off. But I got this thing when I first started doing YouTube videos that I will respond to anyone. I will, and I explained the story several times before, but because it's just YouTube, what can go, it's not like I'm trying to hang out with them and stuff. And, but certain ones I remember just feeling like, I'm not going to respond to this. And then they kept doing more and more videos. So I said I finally gave a response just to be nice because I always tell people I will at least always try to respond to you to not pretend like you don't exist, And then that's when I got the people getting out, give me even 30 more view responses once they felt like they had my attention and talk about killing themselves, talking about how much they hate me, throwing chairs around. And then they gather a bunch of idiots wanting to join that crap. Talking about killing themselves. They were serious. They were doing videos talking about killing themselves, and I was explaining all of this. And the thing is, I knew they were trashy. I knew that their life wasn't together. That was duh. And that was the thing is I should have not. That's what I said. I just block now at this point. I just block. The second you sound ignorant, I block you because you're not wanting help. You want to blame anyone except yourself. That's what I'm saying. But there's a lot of situations I've seen in life. Like I said, if you're a token black guy at a party, you get the F out. Let me tell you that right now, because someone in that party is already called rape, especially if you're a sport player, because I do know a story about a guy that didn't get to go to the NFL because a girl called rape. And it was weird how she won because she said she was so drunk, she wasn't sure if it's him. And I'm going by a law-abiding citizen, like any doubt, and then the case is dropped. So I guess law-abiding citizen is wrong because by saying that sentence in the courtroom, like what she did, he was still found guilty. But it's just like, there's certain things. It's like, every single time I put myself in a situation that people that I knew that weren't all that good, and I'm just laid back person, a problem happened, and then it can turn to a fight, And I like to stay away from fights as much as possible. But you put yourself around the wrong people, yeah, you're going to get some unexpected anger of someone just don't even know what the F they're talking about, and they won't see that there's something wrong with themselves, and they'll talk about killing themselves and blaming you for the way they feel. All right, peace, I got to go. But the point is, I'm trying to say is, you don't understand. Doing the video said, this stupid loser, look at him now. I hope he rots in jail for the rest of his life. That's not intelligence, people. Anyone can do that. Find a video of someone, but the thing is, I don't want to even get in that kind of dumb conversation. I was more feel like, empathy. I'm more of an empathy person of trying to understand, certain things, there's other situations that I want to bring up, but since I already know the information, it's hard to, go over when I was saying because part of me was wondering, wishing my son, if that was my son, just slammed him and left. But I'm thinking about who knows? They could have just tried to grab him anyways after that. But it turns out, no, now that I know that, that's why I feel like I can go over all that because now we know the real situation. Oh, this dude's screwed. But the main point is, yeah, it'll put me in the deep depressed mode. Something, to know that like, what have I done wrong as a dad? I would really just be in that depressed mode. It's just like, I failed as a dad. If that happened with me, that's the truth. And I would talk about that, but they can't do that because no girl wants to be around them. They can't keep a family. They don't know what a family is, really. All right, peace. I gotta go.